Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. So traditionally, sheCodes have hosted Figma workshop every year to help semester-long project students to be able to have the platform, which is Figma, to kind of prototype out the user interface and also the user experience, the flow of their applications. And I think for this year, I want to take it to a different route this year. Figma will still be there. I'm just going to add more things and do a little bit different. So before I dive in any of that platform, I think it is worthwhile to sit back and to talk a little bit about what is UI and what is UX and why we have to care about that. So UI stands for user interface, or sometimes you probably hear that as a GUI, graphical user interface. And so what's the difference between UI and UX? And so UI or user interface is the space where the interactions happen between the user, like I as a user with the product. For example, like which button do I press on to move on to the next page? Which icon I should look out for to see my progress when I'm doing something, or how many items I have clicked so far, or things like that. And then the next is what is UX? And then what's the difference between those two? So UX is more about user experience, is a more holistic approach. And it's the emotions that I have after I using that product. What is my feeling? What is my emotions? Do I feel the applications or the product very easy to use? Or do I being left in a very confused state, even though the graphic user interface, it looks amazing. It has a very catchy color. It has a lot of button. But do I feel comfortable using that, or do I feel confused after that? And am I the target audience of that application or not? Or am I the mainstream audience or user for that product or not? So one of the first thing I look it up, and one of the first thing that usually when we would build a product, a software, or even a hardware, or typically everything in life, usually we care about who is our audience, who will be the kind of the last person that's going to use our product, and knowing their need and knowing what they expect is one of the really important thing for us to set the foundation on what we're going to build and what like how my application can help them, and so that we're not. I used to be in the case where I build a product that I just think of myself, but I'm not thinking of the audience. And sometimes what the audience want or what the customer want is not something that I have already built. And sometimes we have to go back and forth to fix them. And that's totally okay to fix them as well. And it's just better if we know clearly what the audience. So doing research and talking to clients and potential clients, the more we talking to people, the more we have more idea what they expect from our products. So this is the first thing. And user experience is a more, as I mentioned, is a more holistic approach to see, and is a whole research field on that. And user UI just implementation of the UX thing. And this UX is a whole research field, and there are a lot of institutions across our country, including like involving like psychologists, like color theory, and even like research people doing research with our attention span that have decreased along the lifetime, and so they have to update new design and new approach so that the user can have an easier time to use the product. And a friendly user product usually doesn't need the user to have to read manual, and it should be like kind of intuitive to the user to use the product or even a website where to go next. So I will introduce you guys to kind of where you guys can get inspiration from for the UI and UX depending on your team. So as the first and foremost, I Figma is a very popular platform that to help people prototype their website or basically anything that relating to software thing. And I can share the screen with you guys real quick. I can share this. All right. I hope you guys can see my screen. So for the Figma thing, let me pause here real quick. For the Figma and with a lot of the vibe coding IDE nowadays, usually they have a function where we can just tap in what we want, and then they can give a few examples, and then based on those examples, we can make some change based on the color that we want to choose or the outlook of that as well. And then I think regarding to like to teach you guys Figma, I think YouTube tutorial did a better job than myself. I have gone through, look over a few resources on that, and I'm going to give that to Kenya so that Kenya can give that to you guys. And I think regarding to using any software or any product is best for me, like it's best to sit down and to play around with that and to test out and to play around and more than you guys just passively sitting there and watching me talking. And YouTube did a much better job than myself, I would say so. All right, let me share the screen with you guys what I meant so far. All right, so this is this is the Figma website, and they have gonna make application. So I just tap in what I want in here, and basically it's reasoning and is just a very basic prototype for me. Let me see if I can see the whole. And then, of course, I will show you guys all the resources or other website that you guys can take the inspiration form and to decide whether or not you guys can go ahead and feel free to make a duplicate of that and then to twist along the way. And it's totally okay to start at somewhere. Okay. So I type in cuisine. I I would just choose Asian cuisine and I put in my budget. I'm not a cooker. I'm not a cook myself, so I choose the minimum ingredients I need, and then I click on recipe. So basically, what I'm trying to say is this is kind of on my left hand side is kind of the idea, like what you guys want to put onto your applications, and then I usually go here. So for idea, basically. This is Behance. This is a website where a lot of designer uploading their work, or freelancer uploading their work to kind of a showcase or kind of their portfolio. So I think it's a very good resources for you guys to see. For example, if you are developing a mobile app, this is one of the example where they allocate button and resources, and you guys can choose whether or not you guys want to go that route or not. So for example, as we look in here, they have the mobile app for children's, I think, credit card, where the parents monitor the amount of money allocated for the child, and then the child can see what they want to buy or what they want to spend on. So here we can see that the prototype is they have the credit card on here, the amount, and then a different category of the things that they want to buy. So definitely highly recommend you guys to check out this website and then go around looking through. And they have purpose behind choosing the font of the word and also the color as well. And feel free to read on that. And of course, you guys can also look up or ask ChatGPT, like, hey, what is the color palette or what are some color that is suitable for my website based on the content that I want to deliver and based on my targeted audience. Um, Another example is we can go through is a travel mobile app where, for example, it shows the current locations here and start with the search bar or whether or not you want to put the search bar down at the bottom or in the beginning of the page. And then they also have the picture and also different options here, like what kind of informations they want to put on here. So this is kind of idea or template for you to use in your product. And then feel free to change along the side if you want to go to different route. So that is about Behance. They have a lot of things for you to choose from, like web as well. Like they also have case study. So feel free to sit down, play along with this. And then moving on, I noticed that we have a game development team on the semester long project, and one of the website or one of the web page where we will post in the game for the freelancer or amateur game development or even professional game developer. They upload a game on itch.io, and I think it's worthwhile to see the design of this game and to go around and see what game people are developing and what style it is, because I noticed that people usually they do describe why they choose the theme and which element the game that reflect that theme, do that reflection on the theme. So and then you guys, if you guys want to dig more, go more in depth into it, feel free to reach out to the author of the game. And I heard that this is a very friendly and communicative community as well. And another inspirational resources that I've seen my friends play around with is Dribble. So Dribble is a kind of like Behance, and Wearable put in their portfolio where they do mostly UI UX design, and it's a very cool thing for me. And so, for example, if you want to focusing on branding, doing like marketing branding for some things, and if your product have a lot of data or number crunching, then you can look into here as an inspiration to see like where you can put in your number, your graph. How can I put that in and how can I make that ease with people's eyes and what color should I choose to make it stand out? And yeah, for example, this is the graph for selling. And if you have anything similar to this template, I feel free to replace that as well. And this is, again, you guys can think of this like a magazine, or you guys can browse around to see and to have ideas where to start. And then you guys can use Figma from there. And there are tons of YouTube tutorial on how to use Figma that you guys can go on your own. So this is another example. I think I kind of really like it, the dashboard. You guys can choose different letter style, and this is just about a format like, okay, so if I want to create a health application, what information I want to propose or want to show the people and how I can showing that. So in this case, this person choose to show the heart rate, the calories that they have kind of get out of their body, and how many fat percentage, I guess, or how many fat. I don't know the units here. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is more about what information you want to put out and how to allocate those, how to showcase that your product, and whether or not you want any graph, you want like a hard, like a vertical, or like a sharp graph, or like more of the fluid graph like this. And as I mentioned, oh, by the way, I think it's very fun. This is so I look up how to level up UI UX skills, and they have like some fun games on here. And I think I really like this one. I can show you guys the reason why I like this. So basically, let me increase it. So basically, they showing me two options. Let me move the line. Let's see if it doesn't work. Anyway, so they show me two options on the design, and I would choose the one that quote unquote correct to me or more intuitive to me. So I would choose this one, and which is correct. So we can comparing. So if you, I don't have two mouse right now. So when I press on the compare, you can see the change. So the first change that I see is the difference that I see is the battery or the progress or the Wi-Fi signal on the top left hand, and also the circle and the oven faces, and also the font and the color of the name, as well as the curve on the inbox, the chat box as well. And then it also gives you a better feel so that you can bring of the good, I think the good feature to your product. I think this one. Okay. Okay. So in here, it also talk about the icons, font, and shape. So when I compare, it's showing that. So this is, you can see the spacing between the first icon on the top right-hand side is not equally between three icons. You can see here. And also the name, the font tab name, and the chat box response is kind of not in corresponding with like the correlation that. So this is a very cool game. I highly recommend you guys playing out. If you guys want to be more efficient or like deliver a better product for your team. I will stop sharing for now, and I'm going to wrap up. And I also will send out the Figma tutorial on YouTube that I found not too long. And then it will help you guys with that. And then I will also send out the slides, the Google slides that we did last year. I also will send out the link of different website I have shown you guys so far. And then I will show you guys, there are a lot of paper research on user experience. And if you guys are interested into that, then feel free to give them a read and then prototyping on yourself. And that's it for me today. And I hope to see you guys in person soon. Good night.